Uh, well, choosing a first single is always difficult. There's a lot of music on this album. So it wasn't easy, but it is very important, I feel, because for me, I've sort of, I guess it's been over 2.5 years since I've put out any new music. Well, even longer than that, but really since I've been even not performing. So I really wanted to make sure that when I did come back with my new music, that it was something that people were at least familiar with, something that was very recognizable as me. Because I have grown and I have evolved, and a lot of the music is a little bit different. So it was important to choose a song that, again, was familiar enough to everybody that they at least knew that it was me when they heard it on the radio. Basically, it's about a strong woman who is quite strong and confident, knows what she wants, and knows how to get it. And I suppose if you're going to get something, you might as well get it good. So, and it's just sort of my sense of humor it always seems to run through my songwriting, and I often take the woman's point of view. So again, it's just another one of my strong woman, confident songs. I'm not nervous about the release of this record at all. It is something that I'm doing for pleasure. As I said before, there's a lot of music on this album. I'm making this music for the fans. I always have anyway made the music for the fans. So the pressure is really off. I don't have any numbers to reach. I don't have any goals materially for the album. Of course I want it to succeed, but I'm not really sure what that means. I'm not sure how you put a number on success. I think if the fans respond positively, then I think I'll have succeeded with this album. I am genuinely excited. I can't wait to share it with the fans. There is a genuine excitement behind this release. It may be the most exciting time in my whole career, ever. And because I've really done something that is what I think my best work. So I can't wait to share it, and I can't wait to hear what people think. I'm not nervous about the acceptance coming back after being gone for a while. I think all the more reason to give them the best album that I can. All the more reason to give them as much music as I can. I could easily have split this album into 2 and even 3 and saved the music for a later time, but I don't see the point in that. There are always new songs to write, and I just feel give them everything that I'm about now. This is what I'm about right now. These are the songs that I've been writing now in my life, and this is the way I feel right now. And it happens to be more music than normal, and so that's what I think they should have. It was pretty challenging at times, but it's all that much more rewarding. I think the album is really sounding great, and I say that, of course, for Mutt, because he's the one that's making it sound great, really. And you know, he pushes us all to our limits, and you know, so we can be the best that we can be, and I think it really makes a difference in the whole sound of the record. But making a record is always a challenge. I think if you want to do your best and you're going to push yourself even, then it's a bit painful, you know. No pain, no gain. It's like working out. You got to work those muscles if you want to see any improvement, and that is what it's like making a record. It's a challenge. It's a creative challenge. It's a physical challenge. It's an emotional and mental challenge. It's a very intense period. I believe in quality, and I want people to get their money's worth. When they put money on a CD, I want them to feel like it's worth paying for. And you know, so many people get music for free now, and I really just feel like, you know, you're going to buy this CD. I want you to feel like it was worth paying for. There's a lot of music on this album. We spent a lot of time making it sound as great as it can sound. All the performances are as good as we could get them, and we're proud of it. You know, we really put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. And you know, when people take it home, I hope it affects them in the way that I want it to affect them. I mean, it's like going to a movie. You want to leave the theater feeling like it was worth paying for. You want to be moved when you leave the theater. You want to still be thinking about that movie 2 weeks later. Well, a thought just came to me about that, about the fact that I am, of course, working and writing with my husband, the person I love, adore, and respect, of course, just as a talent. When I'm listening back to the music, it gets me more emotional then. Then I really am thinking of him. I'm thinking of my son. I'm thinking of my husband. And I get teary-eyed, I get emotional, or I get happy. The music affects me the way I'm hoping it affects other people. But I'm not thinking that way when I'm writing it so much. I mean, I'm just trying to be a creative writer when I'm writing. I'm trying to make words, any writer, somebody who writes stories, you could take 5 writers, they will all write the story differently. But they all have a different play on words. And I try to pick a story that I think that I can relate to, that I think other people can relate to, and then I just try to find a creative way of putting it down. And I've got usually less than 4 minutes to do it. So I consider myself more just of a creative writer who happens to be a musical person. And I'm not trying to make it sound like a science or anything like that, but I just don't translate things directly from my personal life. And when I'm listening back, I think, wow, okay, this one came together. It really affects me. And I do let my mind wander off to a moment with Mutt or to us as a family and that sort of thing. And yeah, my songs, they can move me when I'm listening back to them. Even though I'm the writer and I've lived with them for months, they move me. I think the most passionate part of what I do in my career is the songwriting. So if I just take that, for example, there's always a song to write. There's always another story to tell. And for as long as that's true, then there will always be new goals. There will always be something else for me to accomplish. As far as even being in the spotlight for me is not always easy. I find it difficult at times. I'm not naturally a glamorous person. I'm a very basic, simple person by nature, and I love just dressing down and putting on my sweat clothes when I'm at home. I really consider the images that my career takes me through more of fantasy, more dress up. It's not something I would do every day. They're not my everyday clothes. It is definitely a world that I step into and then step back out of when I'm finished. This time around, I'm planning a world tour, much bigger than the last one, so I'm really looking forward to it, and I just can't wait to see the fans again. The touring has been the most rewarding time in my whole career so far, so I can't wait to get back on the road touring, basically to see the fans. They tell the truth, and when they're in the audience having a great time, then I know that what I'm doing is worth doing. So the only time I can really sense that and get that is when I'm on tour. And every city that I go to, I'm meeting new people, and I feel so connected with them when I'm out there. It really is just like one big party. So I'm really looking forward to getting back out there again. I enjoyed it so much the last time. It was really hard for me to end the last tour. We all had a fabulous time. All the musicians, all the crew members, everybody. It was, we still talk about it so fondly, and it was the fans. We watched the fans. They entertained us. I never felt like we were out there trying to entertain them. I'm ready for the pace to change anyway, and I'm ready just for things to be a bit different, so the timing is really good. And I'm touring for sure. I mean, it's nothing that Asia can't come along for. So I think we're going to enjoy that together. I think there'll be a lot for him to see and experience. There's all kinds of places to visit, and there's museums all over the world, and just things for him to see and do. Totally unrelated to what I'm doing with my tour. And I think it'll be a great experience and a great education for him. So I think it's a very doable thing. And the touring schedule anyway, I mean, touring is, it's fun. I mean, I enjoy it. It's long if you're away from your family, and it's tiring if you're not somebody who really doesn't watch your sleep. But if you're careful, touring actually is very fun. And if you keep your health up and everything like that, it's not, you know, because you're on stage for 2 hours a night, but you've got your, you know, your early afternoons to yourself, and you can have proper meals, and you can't really see much because you're kind of in a little bit of a bubble as the celebrity. But I can, you know, Asia will be there, Mutt will be there, and we'll have some good family time. They can go off and do things together, and I think I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a nice experience. Since I had a baby, I can say that I'm a more emotional person, I think. I'm more sensitive. My emotions are just more sensitive somehow. And I think that's affected my whole approach towards life in general. That all gets translated into my music. I think deeper, I feel deeper. Everything's heightened, all of my emotions. So I wouldn't say that directly it's affected my style or anything like that, but emotionally I think it really has, yes. There was a time when I was still wheeling the baby into the studio at night with the monitor, singing in one room, and Mutt watching the monitor in the control room, and the baby being in one little soundproof room, and just trying to, you know, get some vocals done and get some work done. Because the baby, I was still nursing, so the baby still needed me every, you know, 3 to 4 hours. So no nanny in the world was going to fix that. So I had to just be there and be available. And of course, Mutt needed me to work during the night, and I tend to sing better at night. So that was very tiring. It was a real juggling act. Making this video was like visiting some old friends. We've had a lot of success together in the past with other videos. We did Man, I Feel Like a Woman together. We did That Don't Impress Me Much. From this moment on, definitely some of my favorite videos have been with Paul Boyd directing. And this one will be no exception. We had a really great time doing it. He came up with some great concepts. And I think we make a great team. So it was just great getting back together with him. I felt very confident that the video would be pretty exceptional with him behind it. The video is quite different from anything else I've ever done. I've never used animation before. I'm sort of playing some kind of a bit of a superhero type character in the video, and of course that's something that I've never done before. So it was kind of fun. I felt a little bit like a James Bond girl in the video, and I do know how to ride a motorbike, so it was quite fun just sort of playing through that and getting into that character. So I think it's probably the most exciting video I've ever done, because even the performance is, I don't know, it's more rock and roll, and I've never really done anything like that before, so it was exciting to do and very different. Well, it's always fun to, with videos, to take the video theme a little bit away from the literal translation of the song. Because I think a lot of what the visual does, it enhances just the whole vibe of the song. It doesn't have to be literal. So why not have a bit of fun with it? And of course, the animation isn't directly related at all to the lyrics. It's just exciting. The song is exciting, it kicks, it rocks, and the animation rocks. It's very high energy, it's powerful. So I think that was more the reason, with going with the animation. I think it was just different and certainly new for me. And there's a chase involved, and there's nothing more exciting than a good old-fashioned chase, except it's a futuristic one. The outfit on the bike was very difficult to last in because it was so hot. Of course, you have all these lights in the studio when you're doing this, and the outfit, it's not leather. It's what we call pleather, and it's like an imitation leather, so it doesn't breathe very well. It looks totally like leather, but it's a lot more animal friendly, but it's not easy to wear because it was very, very hot. But it was worth it. It was worth it. It's that you got no pain, no gain.